What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Baseballology. Today's topic is going to be coaching in Major League Baseball. Over the past couple of weeks, I don't know. I've thought about this topic, and since nobody wanted to listen because I'm just a shitty PO that only throws 60 miles per hour, I can't talk. So I put my opinions into a video so you can listen to them and give my perspective on this whole debacle. My mother always told me that if you can't do something, you should try to teach it. My coach literally says the opposite, and it's fine. We're not all going to agree here, especially when it comes to like coaching philosophies. Yeah, like we're not all going to agree. But I wrote this video so that I can voice my opinion without fear of being called stupid or being interrupted constantly. My opinion is that coaches who played well in their career don't turn out to be the best coaches. Whether at college, high school, professional level, that's just what I think. I believe the best coaches are the ones who sit and watch the game from the bench or the bullpen. He would disagree with me and tell me that bleacher coaches are fucking stupid. And he honestly might insist that I'm stupid as well because if they can't play, they can't teach. If they can't play, how are they supposed to teach because they suck and supposedly don't know a goddamn thing about the game of baseball? I believe the best coaches are the ones who sit on the bench because they watch the game of baseball as it's unfolding. They can see every play, how to make those plays better, and they learn more from that experience. I believe these coaches see everything that's going on. I also believe that coaches who play well try to coach the way they play. I don't know. I don't know if that made sense. I really hope it does. I don't know if that made sense. Good players turn coaches try to make every single player on their team into the hitter or pitcher that they were when they played, right? For example, you are a great Division III athlete. You had some pretty good power when you were playing, and you try to make everyone else on the team hit like you did when you played. Having a plus 100 mph exit velocity and something launch angle and all that, right? You try to make everyone else on the team hit like you did. That's an example of a bad idea because everybody is different in their own ways. You can't make a skinny, scrawny little kid hit a home run because you told him to. I want you to hit a home. Like, no, you can't make him hit a home run. As a skinny, scrawny little kid, no matter how, like, maybe an inside the park home run, but not like an outside the park home run. Like, come on, man. He might be the type of player to like hit the ball on the ground and beat it out, or maybe he's like a gapper that slaps the ball into the open spaces in the field. This, I believe, is part of the reason why I think the Yankees won't win a World Series until Aaron Boone is gone. Now, this is all hypothetical. There's absolutely no reason to believe I'm talking about anyone specific in this video. So please, don't even think about it. My point is that bench players make for the best coaches. That's just my point. Here is a list of 5 guys that never played a game of Major League Baseball. I believe that's when I looked this up. I don't think they played a game of Major League Baseball. First, we have Jim Leyland, who has a 3,499 and 1769 record. So actually, he coached for a long time. He coached for a long time. He was a really good manager for the Tigers. I don't think he ever won a World Series with them, but I think his record kind of shows otherwise. Like, I think he had a really good record with the Tigers, but not really. I don't really think he actually did much with them. Next, we have Joe Maddon, who has a record of 1278 and 1102. Joe Maddon's a really good coach who I believe now has 2 World Series championships. I believe when he was first with the Rays and then the Cubs. So, I mean, he has a winning record, right? Like, I think he's a pretty good manager. Um, and I don't think he ever played a game of baseball at the professional level. Next, we have Earl Weaver, who has a record of 1480 and 1060. And Earl Weaver played like 15 years of minor league baseball. He basically played like 15 years of minor league baseball. I don't think he ever once got up to the majors, which is cool. It's fine, right? Like he was like a good minor league pitcher, which is not good enough to make the majors. And then he actually got to somehow coach in the majors and had a pretty good record, winning 400 more games than he lost. So then we have Joe McCarthy, who has a record of 21-25 and 13-33. So he actually has like 800 more wins than he does losses, and that's really good. Like that's still really really good. Joe McCarthy never played any professional baseball, and he got to coach Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and all those guys from the 1927 Murderers Row Yankees team. So I mean, he won like a good. I don't even know, but like I don't even know how many he won, but he won quite a bit of World Series championships with the Yankees. So I know he also coached for a couple other teams, maybe. I'm just not sure who. Finally, for good coaches, we have Buck Showalter, who has a record of 15-51 and 15-17, and this is like the worst out of all the guys, right? Like the guys on this list are really good managers for the most part. Buck Showalter is probably the worst guy on the list, but still has a winning record and still coached for about 20 years in the MLB. So, I mean, this is kind of my main point. Like, none of these guys played professional baseball, but still go down as maybe some of the best managers in baseball history. Because I believe these are coaches who are able to watch the game and decipher everything that works in a baseball game. And they're not consistently trying to make their team into something that they're not. They know that there are differences in a player, in a bunch of different players. Like, not every one of your guys is going to be a Babe Ruth. So let's start on the list of bad coaches. First, we have Alan Trammell, who has a record of 187 and 302. That's one of those, like, he definitely should not have been allowed to coach for like the 4 years or 3 or 4 years they did. Like he was a really good player that turned into a really terrible coach. That's just simple. Next is Don Mattingly, who has a record of 753 and 762, who has the, I think, best record of the 5 guys I put on this list. I put him on the list because I don't think he's won a World Series or anything, really, for that matter. Especially in his time with the Dodgers, he should have done a lot more. So, that's just my opinion. Next up is Buddy Bell, who has a record of 519 and 724. Buddy Bell is one of those decent players who thought he would be a good coach and wasn't. He was a pretty historically bad coach, losing 200 more games than he won. The next guy on here is Ned Yost, a name familiar with a lot of Milwaukee fans. Yost played a pretty decent career, but went 1203 and 1341 in his managerial career. This isn't the worst, but it definitely should be better considering all of the talent he had on his teams. Finally, we have one of the greatest players of all time, Ted Williams. He had a coaching record of 273 and 364. He didn't really spend too much time coaching, but he had a losing record. He coached for only 4 years before calling it quits, or he got fired or something. I don't know exactly what happened, but obviously I wasn't really around back then. So my deduction is that players turn coaches try to coach the way they played, and it doesn't work. You can't make the whole team a full team of Miguel Sano's or Aaron Judge's or Pete Alonso's It just doesn't work. The reason why it doesn't work, they would combine for a total of 1,110 strikeouts if you were looking at a National League team without the DH. And considering I didn't even put into the pitcher, like I didn't put the pitcher in there, you would probably have a good amount. Like with all the combined pitchers, all the combined strikeouts between the pitchers, you would probably have another 100, maybe 150. So you'd probably have about 1,250 strikeouts, even if you're looking at a National League team. And what I'm saying is this is if you put like just simply all power guys and like all the top guys in the league at hitting home runs. This is what happens if you put a bunch of power guys onto the same team, right? If you're looking at an American League team, you would have about like 1,298 strikeouts in the season, and that would be an extra 600 strikeouts, basically double of the worst team in strikeouts, the Tampa Bay Rays. Surprised they actually got to the World Series last year because they struck out the most in the MLB. I want you to think about this. The fourth best team for strikeouts is the Los Angeles Dodgers, who won a World Series in 2020. The best team for strikeouts, they struck out the least. And this is like not even 2017. This is actually like pretty congratulations to the Houston Astros actually had the least amount of team strikeouts. I don't know how. Like they weren't cheating, but they actually had the least amount of strikeouts. So that's pretty cool. I just say this because I don't like strikeouts. Period. I don't know why anybody should like strikeouts. Why should you give up a strikeout just for the chance of hitting a home run? A home run is really hard to hit, and really only some of the best guys in like, college baseball, high school baseball, Major League Baseball can hit those home runs. It is a really hard thing to do. So why should anybody just go out trying to do that? And like you can say, well, I'm not really trying to hit home runs. I'm just trying to have a good exit velocity. Exit velocity doesn't really do much besides like hitting home runs. Like I've already established that in like my first video. If you actually watched it, like it doesn't really help for anything but home runs. That's really it. You have a bunch of guys in the league, that they're averaging maybe about like 90 miles per hour on exit velocities, and they're doing just fine. They're not really trying to hit home runs. They maybe get like 10 to 15 at most, right? In like a normal season. So, that's just my spiel about that. My theory is get players that don't strike out. That's just get players that don't try to put it over the wall 20 times a game. Like I know I got a little bit off topic here, but I like what I said because it's based on fact and stats, and there's absolutely no convincing me otherwise, so don't try. That is going to wrap it up here for me. With that, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you know when more videos drop. I would love to hear some ideas for videos, so feel free to give me some advice. If you feel like adding to the discussion, drop a comment and let me know what you think about my video here. I like the way my channel has gone up about like 20 subscribers in the last month, so if we can keep that going, that would be amazing. With that, thank you for tuning in to Basebology, and stay tuned for some episodes of baseball trivia that should be started up pretty soon.